Okay, and here is the backside view of the Pye T22. As you can see, it's a fairly nicely laid out chassis. Everything's nice and well ventilated, nothing's too difficult to get at. Normally there's a big black cover that sits around the line output transformer, but I've chosen to take it off and leave it off because inside that black cover, ventilation's probably not as good, and as you know, heat and age tends to kill these rather rare and delicate line output transformers. So I'll just leave the cover off and see how it goes. I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, I've been running the thing on test with the cover off now for a few months. I've been working on it, and yeah, it hasn't really bothered it at all. So yeah. It's a good chassis to work on. To get at the underside, all you do is you just loosen that bracket off, undo it, and lift it up, like so, and the whole thing just hinges down like that. So you can basically replace components, measure voltages while it's running, etc, etc, etc. Get to the EHT kit with your high voltage probe if you're feeling daring. Yeah, and there's your main circuit board there. Definitely a bit nicer than some of the English sets I've seen on BVRS. Some of those look quite tricky. Look like to be quite tricky to work on. So had a couple of people actually comment and have actually said that this particular set is actually quite nicely laid out. And yeah, and other bonus too is that it's isolated from the mains. That's your mains transformer. It's not live chassis or anything, so the filament chain is all parallel, basically E-series valve 6.3 volt. So yeah, this sort of makes it a lot more safer to work on as well in that respect, in regards to sort of working on one side of the mains in that respect. So yeah, I'll just give you a quick layout of the set before I show you the circuit. So of course you got your mains transformer there. It's your filter choke for the power supply, audio output transformer there, it's your vertical output transformer there. On the board, that's your video IF, it's your front end there, and here's your sound. That's your sound detector and so forth. Audio output tube and AGC, video amplifier, sync separator, horizontal oscillator and drive, and vertical or frame output tube there. Moving across, that's your line output valve there. It's your boost diode, and down here is the EHT rectifier. Yeah, those two are horizontal, I think, shift and linearity adjustments there. What have we got here? We've got that's vertical hold, that's contrast, the brightness and tone volume on the front. What else have we got here? That's AGC there, adjust, horizontal oscillator coil is there. Up here we've got, I think that's height on there, and that's top linearity, and I think that one, oh whoops, sorry about that. I wasn't watching, I was too busy looking at the actual board, not the camera, so sorry about that, guys. Yep, it's your height control there. I think that's overall linearity, and I think that's top linearity. So yeah, excuse me if I sort of wander off, or all of a sudden what I'm talking about disappears, because this is the first time I've done this sort of thing with the video camera. So so just bear with me. Yeah, power supply caps down here. I've actually changed one of the power supply caps as well. I've still got to do this one as well. So as you can see, I've replaced a lot of components, mainly resistors. These things were, the resistors used in these sets were really bad for drifting, like shockingly bad. In fact, the set was still working. I actually got the set from my friend. Basically did a quick visual check and powered it up slowly with the Variac, and yeah, after about a few minutes and adjusting a few controls, I actually had a picture on the screen. So not bad really, considering I've been sitting outside under carport for 15 years. Quite surprising really. So yeah. So there you go. Most of these capacitors here, these SRC ones, the polyester type, and they really give trouble. They're pretty reliable. These will be all the original ones that were installed in the set from new. I've never had one of those go bad yet. And these, where is it? Down here. These Philips capacitors, they call them these sort of mustardy coloured capacitors too. These will be one of the most reliable capacitors I think I've ever found. I've got radios from the like 50s that have still got these caps on them. The caps are fine. Again, they're polyesters, and yeah, they're great. They're so reliable. Some of these other ones I've changed because I had a fault in this area and I wanted to eliminate the problem. So a few probably unchanged unnecessarily, but I had to eliminate the problem, so I changed them. You can see quite a few resistors here have been replaced as well. That 4.7K 5 watt, the original was about 6.8, so I changed that as well. A few polypropylene caps in the horizontal oscillator. Actually, it was quite funny, one of these was actually shorted and the thing was still running. It was quite surprising, but one of these caps that was short, obviously it wasn't enough to upset the oscillator or whatever. So I think that's your sync discriminator diodes. It's a kind of weird little package in there. So yeah, going down in here is the tuner section. Actually, tuner there, I've got the cover off at the moment, and I'll try and get the camera down on there, but you can sort of see it's quite neat, little turret tuner. So again, typical conventional sort of tuner for one of these Pye sets. Just got a series of contacts underneath, and yet as in all black and white TVs, the contacts get dirty and you have to clean them and service them. So yeah, and the tube, for your information, is an A65. Looks like 91W. I think that's what that reads there. I'm not entirely certain. And then all this guff, all this here is at the side, whether it's, I don't know, quite know what that is, whether it's some kind of bonding material. You can see it's kind of been, yeah, I don't quite know what that is, or some sort of, don't know, just some tape or something. Obviously the glue or something they used when they stuck this piece on here, I don't really know, but it's all kind of flaking off, so you can just leave it. I don't want to be too concerned about it. So yeah, if you just wait 1 second, I will get the circuit and show you that.